Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my live stream here this morning. We are actually tracking Hurricane Ian making another landfall here in South Carolina. So if you guys want to check in here with me, I will be providing updates here this morning on Hurricane Ian's landfall status. We'll be going over model forecast data here, the European forecast model, the GFS model, and the Canadian model or CMC forecast model to kind of go over the impacts and what's to come for the rest of the hurricane season over the Atlantic. We'll be going over the mainland United States weather pattern here as well in this live stream as we get through it. So welcome everyone to this morning. Happy last day of September to you guys. I know it's 9/30/22, the very last day of September here on Friday. I know I live in the Midwest, beautiful weather. I know we have a hurricane down in the south causing a lot of devastation across Florida and South Carolina, but here in the Midwest, lots of bright sunshine, sun-splashed skies. I'm looking out the window now and lots of blue sky out there. Beautiful weather, some cooler weather out there in the Midwest if you guys live there. Otherwise, we're talking about a landfalling system, a double landfall here. With a landfall in Florida earlier on this week, and now we have another landfall in South Carolina here right now. So this is the infrared satellite imagery you guys are looking at right now. This is Hurricane Ian still. It has strengthened back to a Category 1 hurricane, and looking at the cone of uncertainty, this is a Category 1, 85-mile-per-hour hurricane right now as we speak, just about to make landfall in portions there of eastern South Carolina. It's moving currently north at 14 miles per hour as of the last advisory here from the National Hurricane Center this morning. So that is currently what we're seeing here on the, the cone of uncertainty, their official forecast. It will weaken back to a tropical storm later on here tonight, and then back to tropical depression or post-tropical depression here as it kind of moves on towards western North Carolina and western Virginia and perhaps up to West Virginia as we head into tomorrow and tomorrow night. So that will be something to watch. More of a heavy rainmaker from here on out once it makes landfall, and just lots of widespread heavy rainfall that could cause some flash flooding. So you definitely want to be on the lookout for that as we head through the next couple of days across the eastern the eastern seaboard here, from the Carolinas northward to the mid-Atlantic, and perhaps up toward the I-95 corridor into New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore, the Boston area. You could have some impacts for some rainfall as well, some unsettled weather as we head through late this weekend into early next week. So that will be something to keep an eye on. Again, thank you guys for joining. If you guys are new to the channel and have yet to subscribe, hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell. I did not do a video this morning. I will be doing one tomorrow. My October forecast will be here for tomorrow morning. You guys can check that out on my YouTube channel, Weather on the Go. And again, I'll be having more information on your October weather forecast across the country and Canada as we move into tomorrow's video. So you guys can check that out. Usually I post between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Alrighty, guys, so let's see what's going on here in the tropics. Again, this is a cone of uncertainty. I will leave this up for just one more moment so you guys can see what I expect, or what you expect here, where this storm, at least the center of low pressure, will be. We still have hurricane warnings across the entirety of the coast there of South Carolina and portions there of southern North Carolina. This includes Charleston, Myrtle Beach, getting up there towards places like the Outer Banks of North Carolina. That is something we're keeping an eye on as we move in through the next several hours here. So let's go back and show you what we're expecting here. Let's go back to some of the analysis here. I did want to show you this. Fairly interesting. We did see, like I said, a hurricane, a Category 4, make landfall in Florida a couple of days ago, and it did actually cool the waters off across the eastern Gulf of Mexico. You can see the bluer anomaly showing up there just to the west of Naples and Fort Myers. That is some of the upswelling here from the storm, and this is going to continue to kind of make for some cooler waters west of Florida, which could help in the long run potentially when it comes to tropical systems making landfall or moving into the Gulf of Mexico into October. We'll keep an eye on that. Again, still lots of warmer waters though in the Caribbean and the Gulf, so I did want to show you guys this as well. Because I felt like it was very important to kind of let you know of the environment is still ripe for any systems to move into the Gulf. That is for sure. So we'll keep an eye on that as we move through the next month or so. So that is what we're keeping an eye on. All right, and also here, let's see. Let's look at the weather forecast model. Let's kind of zoom in here as well. across the western Atlantic. Let's see here. Okay, so let's go to the European, or actually the Icon model. This does capture it very well, so let's kind of check this out and see what we have. We have a 975 according to the Icon model for a low pressure center pressure there. This will move inland and start to weaken back to a 973 as it probably makes landfall near the Myrtle Beach area as we head through the next couple of hours, probably early this afternoon. And then as we move into late this afternoon, it's going to become more of a heavy rainmaker as we weaken this back to a tropical storm up across this region. And again, this will continue to propagate up toward the mid-Atlantic. So let's get a better view of this here on Pivotal Weather. You guys can check this out as well. This is pivotalweather.com. You guys can check out a bunch of different things, forecast, the Climate Prediction Center, Storm Prediction Center, outlooks, and all of that. You guys can check that out as well, pivotalweather.com. And also tropicaltidbits.com as well has a lot of great features on there. You can look at weather forecast models. You can look at ocean analysis, aircraft recon when there's storms in the Gulf of Mexico or the Caribbean and when they're tracking that in the Western Atlantic. Lots of cool features on there as well. That's tropicaltidbits.com and pivotalweather.com as well. So let's kind of look at, let's zoom in here real quick. Just give me one moment. Thank you guys so much for joining me here this morning. Again, definitely means a lot. Definitely appreciate it. So let's look at the, okay, so the European forecast model has not come out for 12Z yet. So let's look at the GFS. Again, this is coming ashore right now. The GFS has a 984 millibar low pressure center there. Let's look at the rainfall amounts with this because this is going to be rather impressive here through the next 12 hours. The 12-hour QPF or quantitative precipitation forecast, and you can see that a lot of heavy rain is expected across portions of South Carolina, into especially central and eastern North Carolina, and then up to southeastern Virginia through the next 12 hours or so. So that is something to keep an eye on. Again, we have widespread potential for flash flooding in some of these areas. I wouldn't be surprised if we had some power outages. That definitely is a possibility. But again, it's going to be more few and far between compared to what we saw in Florida. There was a lot of power outages in Florida. I remember the entire island of Cuba was actually without power, so that's not going to happen this go around, but we still will have some power outages, I do feel. Some scattered to numerous power outages are definitely possible, if not likely at this point, across these areas. So again, thank you guys for joining. If you guys are just, tuning in, we're talking about Hurricane Ian. Again, this is the precipitation forecast here. Let's go to the next 24 hours here, and you can see how the precipitation really falls. We have about widespread 2 to 5 inches of rain with some isolated maybe 6-inch, half a foot totals across portions of central North Carolina, getting into eastern South Carolina as well. That is something to keep an eye on as we go into the next 24 hours within the next day. Most of the rainfall is actually going to fall on your Friday night into Saturday morning across this area. So definitely this is what we're seeing, guys. We're seeing a lot of flooding potential, and I'll pull up real quick. Let me kind of look this up. The Weather Prediction Center, actually, no, I can see it on here. The Weather Prediction Center's forecast for excessive rainfall today, we have a widespread area here, if you guys can check this out. In the red, that's a moderate risk, a 20% to a 50% shading there of flash flooding conditions. That means widespread flash flooding is likely into portions of western Virginia, getting into much of North Carolina, including the Raleigh area, all the way down into Columbia, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and Charleston, South Carolina as well, kind of on that line between the line between moderate and slight risk for excessive rainfall and flash flooding. So that is something we'll keep an eye on. As we go into the day tomorrow, you can see that we still have a flash flooding potential. It shifts a little bit farther to the north and lessens a little bit. We still have a slight risk, which is a 10 to 20% chance here of flash flooding tomorrow across the mid-Atlantic, particularly as you get up into Charleston, West Virginia, getting up into portions of western Virginia and eastern Kentucky. We have another slight risk here up here across Long Island in New York, all the way back down into southern and eastern New Jersey, portions of Delaware down into eastern Maryland, and all the way up there toward the Outer Banks, getting up toward the Cape Cod up there towards the Massachusetts and Boston area. So that is something we'll keep an eye on as we head through the day tomorrow. So that's just kind of an update for you guys on some heavy rainfall potential and what you could expect for flash flooding out there. If you guys are just joining me. Make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel. Turn on all notifications, guys. I'll be having an October weather forecast on my YouTube page tomorrow. So again, if my audio is sounding a little bit off right now, you guys can let me know down in the live chat, because I know a couple of times. Again, I'm working on getting a new mic, but if you guys cannot hear me for some reason, do let me know, because I will fix that here on my side of things with the audio. So let me know. Other than that, good Friday morning out there to everybody. Definitely much appreciated. It looks like, yeah, I wanted to show you this as well. Here, let me zoom in for that, because that is not very good. Let's see here. Okay, so what you're looking at right now, again, going back to the water temperatures here, what you're looking at right now, you're seeing a bunch of colors, and this is mainly just water temperatures in Celsius. So if you see all the 30 degrees Celsius numbers on here, if you convert 30 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit, that would be 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So what you're seeing across the Caribbean is, just because we had a hurricane just move through, yes, it cooled off some of the waters in the eastern Gulf of Mexico with some upswellings and stuff like that, but we are actually seeing some warm water still lingering around across portions of the greater Antilles, Jamaica, back toward Cuba, back toward the Dominican and Haiti there, the Dominican Republic, that is. And again, we still have a ripe environment for hurricanes and, tropical storms in this environment still as we go through October. So just because we had one storm make landfall doesn't mean we can't have another. We're still in the height of the hurricane season. However, I do want to make note that the hurricane season is slowly starting to come to a halt. So let's kind of show you the climatology on this real quick. I like to show this because it's a good refresher on where we're at here in the hurricane season. So I will show you. So this is the Atlantic hurricane season, guys. And right now, if you guys can see on the bottom of the screen here, we're about here toward the very end of September, getting into very, very early October. So we're starting to kind of move down a little bit farther on the ladder. We're starting to climb downwards now. We were at the peak. Now we're starting to climb downwards. And it looks like as we get through October, it's really going to start to decrease exponentially. Now, that said, we're still going to expect a lot in the way of some hurricane activity, maybe some tropical storms as well as we head through time across the Atlantic Ocean. So that will be something to keep an eye on. Again, let me know if the audio is, a big issue here on here. I know sometimes, again, my audio is off, but and not working too well. But let me know. Thank you for joining me this Friday morning. Again, this is just looking at climatology of the Atlantic hurricane and tropical storm activity. This data, this climatology data is based on data from 1944 to 2020. So that is something we're seeing here as well. So just let me know. Let me know if you guys are living in Florida. Do you guys live? Any of you guys joining me live here this morning? Are you guys from Florida or South Carolina or anything like that? Let me know. It'd be cool to get some perspective on the conditions down there. If you guys live down in Florida or South Carolina or anything, or even North Carolina, really, or just anywhere in the Southeast, to get your perspective on the storm. And again, I know we're talking about the Atlantic, but here's the Eastern Pacific basin here for hurricane and tropical storm activity. You can see, again, we're still kind of at the peak now, but the Eastern Pacific is still going to be quiet for a while. Again, I think there's a tropical storm over there now, but we're not seeing much in the Eastern Pacific. Normally in a La Nina year anyway, we really don't see, normally we don't see a lot of activity in the Eastern Pacific. Usually it's pretty quiet. It did start off a lot, very active in the Eastern Pacific, and that was unusual because in La Nina years, with a moderate La Nina in place is what we're in now, you usually just don't see that. You really don't. So it's pretty interesting how that happened. But again, we will see what happens there in the Eastern Pacific. So going back to the infrared satellite imagery, this is Hurricane Ian. So that is what we're checking out here. Hey, Weather Watcher, how you doing? Good Friday morning to you. Thank you for joining the live stream. If you haven't liked it down below, press the like button. Thank you. Appreciate it. Again, I encourage anybody and everybody to, if you guys are joining me on the live stream today, to subscribe and press the like button down below. That's all I ask, guys. Thank you so much for joining this morning. The last day of September. You're inside Hurricane Ian now. Are you in South Carolina? Weather Watcher, are you in South Carolina? Yeah, it looks like it's going to make landfall here somewhere around the Myrtle Beach area, just north of Charleston. That's what it looks like now anyway. So if you live around Myrtle Beach, the Charleston area, especially up toward Myrtle Beach there, brace yourself because it looks to make landfall around the Myrtle Beach area here rather soon if it hasn't already. Let's see. I don't think it has yet. I should have brought the radar up for it. Let's see what the Weather Prediction Center. Okay, so guys, this is the Weather Prediction Center's forecast for rainfall through the next 72 hours. So this ends Monday morning. Again, a lot of rainfall, not as significant as Florida, but still, 2 to 5 inches of rain is still formidable across this area. So you definitely want to be on the lookout for flash flooding. Again, we did show you earlier. I can show you again. We have a moderate risk for flash flooding today across most of the Carolinas and getting up into western Virginia and the southern portions, very far southern portions of West Virginia as well. So that is something we'll keep an eye on. Flooding is likely in this red shaded color. It's possible in the yellow, and it's it's possible also in the green shaded area, but not as likely. So we'll see what happens there. But again, going back to the rainfall the next 72 hours, here's what you can expect. Columbia, South Carolina, about 2.5 inches. Myrtle Beach, about 4 inches. Down toward Charleston the next 72 hours. Charleston, South Carolina, that is. We could be seeing maybe another inch or two additional rain. Charleston, West Virginia, about 3 inches. Raleigh, North Carolina, here possibly the big winner, up to around 5 inches, 4.5 to 5 inches there. The Outer Banks of North Carolina there, in eastern North Carolina, eastern Virginia, we could have some 5-inch totals there as well. Getting up there towards portions of Maryland and southern Delaware, southern New Jersey, we could see several inches there, from 2 to 5 inches as well. Just some of the areas to expect for some of the heavy rainfall out there the next 72 hours, going into early next week. If you guys have any questions for me, you definitely can answer them down in the live chat. Again, I'm here for you guys. Again, this is the reason why I do these live streams, to kind of help you out. I know I didn't go live yesterday, but I wanted to go live today to kind of update you on Hurricane Ian as it was making a landfall. Currently is a category, here I'll show you the infrared again, visible infrared satellite imagery. It's currently a Category 1 hurricane at 85 mile per hour sustained winds. So a stronger Category 1 right now. And it's going to make landfall near the Myrtle Beach area. So appreciate everybody joining. Again, this is what we're seeing. It looks like the center of low pressure, if you see my mouse here, is right around here, is really, really close to the South Carolina coast there right now. And it's really going to be making landfall, I think, near the Myrtle Beach area. I mean, very, very close. It really looks that way. So I know the cone last night was shifting a little bit, but I'll show you the cone again. Just give me one moment, guys. Here's the cone of uncertainty. Again, maximum sustained winds here of 85 miles per hour, moving north at 14 miles per hour. So it has picked up forward speed. So that's some good news. You want to see this hurricane pick up forward speed, because the faster it moves away, the less impacts, and also the faster it weakens and the less rainfall totals you'll see as well. That's another big thing, is because it's moving faster, it will also have still a lot of heavy rain with it, but not as much as Florida. We saw a lot of totals in Florida reaching 20 inches or so, maybe even up to around 2 feet, 30 inches. I mean, we saw some significantly, almost historic rainfall totals in Florida. I know there's a lot of flooding going on. My heart goes out to people in Florida, that is for sure. Hopefully they can recover here within the next couple of weeks after that water recedes in these areas, and we can start picking up the pieces down there. Again, thank you guys for joining me this morning. You guys are a very awesome audience. I definitely appreciate the audience here on the live streams and my videos. Again, thank you guys so much. If you guys can help me out and liking it down below, pressing the thumbs up button, leaving any comments, questions, or concerns in the live chat. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. I have a new weather forecast video tomorrow morning. It is in my October weather forecast, what I expect through the entirety of the month of October, and just my fall forecast in general. You guys can check that out. That video will be out tomorrow morning for you guys. I've been working hard on that video to get that ready for you guys. Very interesting October. I'll give you a little bit of a hint there. It's going to be an interesting October from coast to coast. So stay tuned for that video. Good Friday morning, everyone. Yeah, it looks like a tropical storm by later this afternoon. So once it makes landfall here, the cone of uncertainty, you see the S there, that is tropical storm status, and then the D, which is tropical depression or post-tropical depression status. Once it moves into the mid-Atlantic there, into northern portions of North Carolina and western Virginia. That is currently what's going on here across the United States with that. Yeah, you guys want to know about the weather forecast here. We're not just going to talk about the hurricane. We're going to talk about the Atlantic hurricane season in general right now. So what we're seeing here, actually, I picked the wrong thing here, so let me go back. What we're seeing here is pretty quiet right now behind Hurricane Ian. We really don't have any systems to worry about. Now, that said, the National Hurricane Center has actually highlighted this area that I'm circling now, just to the west of the African coast, for a 60% chance of development in the next 5 days and a 40% chance of development in the next 2 days for another system coming off of Western Africa. So let's track that as we head through the next several days. And here's the system developing to a 1008 millibar low pressure system here just west of Africa. And this could move west of Africa into the open waters of the southeastern Atlantic as we head into like next Monday. After that, all bets are off. This system is going to probably become a tropical storm, maybe a hurricane, but it looks like a very small system and really kind of remaining over the open waters, at least on this model, even as we get towards next weekend. So that is some good news. I know there's a lot of warmer waters still across the southern Atlantic, so we still have to watch this, that is for sure. Yeah, Melissa, yeah, definitely something like that. No, the reason why we call it the cone of uncertainty is because just like weather forecast models, say for example, we're forecasting a hurricane, right? And you're saying to yourself, well, why do we call it this cone of uncertainty? Well, if you're forecasting a hurricane, for example, we'll say Hurricane Ian, like we're seeing now. It's just like weather models. The farther you go out in time, the reason why we call it cone of uncertainty is the farther you go out in time, the bigger the cone gets because there's a lot more uncertainty of where the track will be and the intensity. So that's why there's kind of the scope of it is not not known, longer out in time, days and weeks ahead of time. So usually the cone of uncertainty, or the cone, I guess I'll call it, it goes out a few days ahead of time, usually up to about 5 days out is pretty accurate. Anything after that, it's pretty uncertain just in general because the accuracy of going farther out than 5 days really anyway is pretty low. So that's kind of why we call it that. But again, there's a lot of terms for it. So, but yes, I do get what you're saying there. Definitely for sure. Makes you laugh. It makes me laugh too. But yeah, we again, that's why it's called the cone of uncertainty. At least that's why meteorologists call it that anyway. Again, the Canadian model shows the same thing. The system's probably going to turn northbound. It's going to head west and then turn north, really before it even gets remotely close. This will be several hundred miles to the east of the Windward Highlands. So this is a light year away from the United States. So you don't have to worry about this anytime soon. And this system probably won't even get close to the Caribbean the way it looks now. It looks to move west and then turn northwest bound, and that's because the steering current from this Bermuda high pressure system that'll be sitting across the northeastern Atlantic, steering this system a little farther to the northwest than west. So that's kind of what the flow looks like in the environment, in the atmosphere. So that's what we're seeing. Again, Melissa, good morning to you. Good morning to Weather Watcher. Thank you guys for being interactive in the live chat. Again, if anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns, you guys can always leave them down below. Hopefully, my audio is a lot better this morning for you. Again, happy last day of September. I know we're going to be moving into what we call spooky season. October 1st is tomorrow on your Saturday, so very interesting. We're getting closer, guys. We're getting closer to the first snowfall of the year. So if you guys live in the Midwest like I do, again, it's nice and sunny outside. We got highs in the 60s today. Beautiful weather, but the snow is not too far away. Just a couple of months away, guys. We're getting October. Sometimes we can get snow in October. It just depends on the weather pattern and stuff like that. Yeah, because let's go back to the mainland United States here and show you what's going on with this. Let me show you something here. Okay, so what we got, this is the general weather pattern here today, this morning. We got a little bit of a trough across the western United States here, across the Rockies, bringing some cooler temperatures and some precipitation. Nothing like we see across the eastern United States, that is for sure. And you can see a little bit of a deepening here of the trough across kind of a long wave trough across the eastern United States. That's an association here with a hurricane right now. That's Ian. And as we move through the rest of this weekend, it's going to be more of zonal flow. Now, we'll have a little bit of some troughing across the northwestern United States, nothing significant, but we're still going to see more of west to east Pacific air. So you're seeing eastern Pacific air here from the west coast across the United States. And when you usually see a zonal flow this time of year from the Pacific, it's not very active. We see a lot of sunshine, a lot of sinking air under high pressure, and we have a ridge across the Central Plains, the Missouri Ozarks, and even the upper Midwest. You can see with the oranges kind of spiking all the way up toward the international border there between the Canadian provinces and Minnesota. That's what we're seeing. Was a lot worse on Wednesday. Yeah, the mic is always goofy on here. I need a new one. How is that? There we go. Thank you, Julie. Is your name Julie? Is it Julie? Am I saying it wrong? How do you pronounce your name? I don't want to, pronounce your name wrong, but thank you. I'll say Julie for now, but until you let me know, but thank you for your kind words. Appreciate it. But as we go into early next week, though, we got a little bit of a trough trying to dig down across the United States here. You can see as it moves from Canada all the way. We're actually missing some info. It kind of makes a big jump there. It skips Tuesday. The icon model just goes from 18Z Monday to 15Z Wednesday. Just completely misses Tuesday. Sometimes the models do that. They kind of miss a day, but yeah, anyway, there's a trough that's going to be digging down onto eastern Canada toward the Great Lakes. That'll provide for some cooler temperatures. And what do I mean by that? Let's kind of zoom in and show you. Go to the thermodynamics here, temperatures, and look at the temperatures as we go to late next week. Guys, these are your high temperatures potentially by next Thursday. Yeah, you're not seeing that wrong, guys. We could have high temperatures in Western Ontario in the mid 30s, the northern portions of Minnesota, the arrowhead of Minnesota, potentially reaching only 40 degrees next Thursday, low to mid 40s across the Dakotas. And yes, the Chicago lakefront could be just barely touching 60 degrees there. Same thing with Milwaukee, Madison, Wisconsin. If you guys live in the Northeast, you'll be influenced a little bit by a ridge before the trough moves in, and that's where we'll see more 60s and 70s there. But again, yes, it's going to be a very interesting weather pattern. Again, those are your potential high temperatures. This could change a little bit more, but again, all the warm air is going to be down across the Gulf Coast in the deep south, the Dixie Valley region from East Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi. Of course, we still got Death Valley down here in Southern California, southwestern Arizona, stuff like that. That's where we're going to see obviously the warmer temperatures again. Phoenix, Surprise, Arizona, all the way back down to Los Angeles. Here are your high temperatures next Friday, guys. Look at that. Wow. If you guys are ready for fall, I hope you guys are, because we're talking about some major cool temperatures across the Midwest. Guys, we could be at 43 degrees in Green Bay next Friday for high temperatures if this model is correct. Again, you can't put all the eggs in the basket, so to speak, with one model, but this is pretty impressive. Again, I know there's an impressive trough going to be digging down into the United States, so this is pretty interesting. Again, if you guys are just joining, would definitely greatly appreciate if you would like the live stream and also hit the subscribe button, notification bell. I'll have my full October forecast for you guys tomorrow morning on the video. My Twitter handle is down below in the description below if you guys want to follow me on Twitter. I don't only do weather. I also do sports predictions. My top 10 NFL power rankings and also my top 10 college power rankings are out for NCAA. If you guys want to check that out, who I think is my top 10 teams here this past week. Yes, I know the Dolphins lost. They lost to the Bengals last night, but yeah, right now we are getting back to the weather though. Yeah, the Friday night low temperatures, it hasn't fully loaded in, but look at that. Thursday night into Friday morning, guys. We could be seeing a hard freeze. Look at that, almost teens. We might be near 19, 20 degrees up here into the Dakotas by the time we get to next Thursday night. Really, just a few days away. It's only like 5, 6 days out. Usually, a 5 to 7 days out, you can count on the temperatures maybe changing ever so slightly farther out, but this looks pretty good to be quite honest with all the the data that I was looking at. Let's see what the European forecast model was saying here at 0Z from last night, because this is usually pretty accurate with temperatures most times. Hey, check that out, guys. As we go into early next week, nice warm up across the Missouri Valley there, getting back down to the central southern plains. A lot of mid to upper 80s, maybe touching 90 down here towards central and east Texas. Yep, here comes that trough. Yeah, next Friday, guys. It'll be cold. Not as bullish, though, on the cool down with the European forecast model, though. Not as bullish. So, Melissa, are you you're in you said you lived in Indiana, right? I don't think you're going to get any precipitation from this hurricane. I don't think so. Yeah, I was mainly just watching this hurricane all morning long, really. I mean, from like when I woke up this morning about 5 in the morning, and I barely got a lot of. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night at all. I was tired. North Carolina here, okay. Yeah, you guys are getting some heavy rainfall there in North Carolina. It looks to make landfall near Myrtle Beach, South Carolina right now. That's what we're looking at. So kind of a double landfall. Landfall in Florida and a landfall in South Carolina with the storm. That's what we're seeing. Again, I look forward to doing more of these live streams in the future, longer live streams and stuff like this. I just wanted to do a brief live stream here this morning to let you know about the kind of update you guys on Hurricane Ian and the update on the weather forecast for you guys across the country, to show you that we do have a pretty major cool down coming across the United States as we head into late next week. We got our first real shot of cold air. I mean, I know it was cold this past trough, but this trough could be a lot more potent potentially. Again, going back to the icon model here, if this is correct, we could be seeing a lot of freeze warnings up here across the Dakotas, Minnesota, and northwoods of Wisconsin as we head in towards late next week. A lot of low to mid 20s there, highs that could be only near upper 30s, low 40s. Our first real shot of some winter-like air, just about some early winter-like temperatures there. So be prepared for that. Winter is coming, guys. It's October 1st tomorrow, so it won't be too long, and our first snowfall will be flying too. So just as Hurricane Ian will be moving out, we might be seeing our first shot of some cooler air. If you guys don't have any questions, I think I'll be wrapping it up here. Again, I just mainly wanted to do a shorter live stream today to kind of update you guys on the hurricane. Again, I hope everybody's safe down there in Florida. Again, I hope, my heart goes out to everyone in Florida affected by this hurricane, or really anybody in general affected by this hurricane or tropical storm. Again, a lot of impacts. I do expect heavy rainfall across the southeast here. You can see, let's go back. You can see this is their next 72 hours worth of precipitation across North Carolina, South Carolina here, and Virginia. Widespread 2 to 5 inch rainfall totals. Wouldn't be surprised if some of these spots overachieve. There could be spots getting around 6, 7 inches possibly, especially into western Virginia and central North Carolina there toward the Raleigh area and back down toward Myrtle Beach. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Moderate risk for excessive rainfall here, guys. This is what we have today in the red shaded colors. That means widespread flash flooding is possible. There could be an issue with maybe some Landslides in the mountainous areas, that's possible. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. Take flash flood warnings very seriously. Flash flood emergencies are even worse, but take flash flood warnings seriously. If you are under any type of flood advisory, watch, warning, take it very seriously, guys. A moderate risk of flash flooding is very serious. It's one of those upper echelon type of risk days today for flash flooding. So take it seriously if you live in North Carolina, Virginia, or South Carolina. So that is what we're seeing. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. Again, happy, I guess it's only the last day of September, but hope everybody has a great end of September there, a great Friday, again, to end the work week out there. Again, my heart goes out to Florida. Everybody has some, everybody has hard times. I know there's a lot of things going on, a lot of weather systems we've had this year. I know we've had a lot of, flooding in eastern Kentucky. We had the hurricane in Florida. We've had drought out west here causing a lot of dry weather with the crops out there. We've had a lot of heat waves this summer. A lot of impacts here with the La Nina, and it looks to continue straight through the rest of 2022 and back to hopefully neutral conditions with the La Nina as we get back to 2023, and then we might flip over to an El Nino by the time we get to the summer or late spring there of 2023. Again, that's what I'll kind of keep you updated with. I'll have more weather discussions on that going forward. I plan to do more live streams like this and longer live streams at that. As we get a little bit farther into the winter, because I like doing winter weather forecast live on these live streams. So if you guys are into that weather breakdown type stuff, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this live stream and turn the notifications on by hitting the notification bell as well. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Happy Friday out there, last day of September. Hope everybody has a great rest of the day here, and I will see you guys in the video tomorrow with my October weather forecast. Stay safe, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.